Hello and welcome to our Therap S-Comm training. In this training, you'll walk through what an S-Comm is, how to read through your inbox, and also how to compose messages. And so S-Comms are shown right here on the right side of your dashboard, and they're short for secure communications. And so this is an inter-office email of sorts, which is housed right here within the Therap system. We can send messages throughout the organization to anybody that has a login. And it is only something that goes within the Therap system. And so we can send some information around about the people that we support and know that it falls under the same HIPAA protections as anything else that we do within the system. And so a few of the things that we do with this, while it's a big piece of what we do organizationally for sharing information, it's a relatively simple module that we have at our disposal. And so I'm going to click on the inbox piece there, and here this is where all of my incoming messages are going to come up for me. And so I'm going to go ahead and select a message that I want to read. I can see that this is from Samantha Feingold, and it's our weekly newsletter that's come through. Her message shows up here. The level of importance, low, medium, and high, shows up here in the top corner. If I wanted to see all of the people that she sent it to, I could hit this little icon here, and then any attachments that were provided are also down here at the bottom of the message. Once I've had a chance to review it, I'll come up to this button right here, and I can typically, if I haven't read this before, it'll show up as a blue check mark. I'll click on it, just as you can see popping up on my screen here. It says acknowledge and next. When I click on it, it timestamps when I read and received this information. This becomes important because S-Comm becomes a space where we send out a number of training updates and materials out to you. By clicking acknowledge and next, it is similar to signing off your name that you've received this information, just like any other in-service sheet that was made available to you at the house. Oftentimes, we'll also have a signature page for formal training sorts of materials, and we'll ask you to sign that off separately. Sometimes it's a little easier to manage that document than pull all of the read replies through S-Comm. But because some of that information comes out, as well as health updates on the people that you're supporting, nursing uses this frequently, program managers use it often to let people know what's coming up, what's happened, if there's a change in status or a change in treatment. Those things all get communicated through S-Comm. And so it's very important at the beginning of each shift when you're checking your T-logs to also take a look at your S-Comms and see what's in there and make sure that you're staying up to date with any of that information that's coming through. And like I said, as you read it, hit acknowledge next. It'll help make sure that your inbox doesn't become overfull with stuff that you haven't updated and read on. You can see here next to my inbox, I have a number that is the number of S-Comms I currently have not read. And so I'm down to 17 at the moment. We're trying to stay on top of everything. And so it'll also tell me once I hit that acknowledge, you'll see here that I acknowledge this message on 6:15, 4:43 p.m. So that's the view pane of it. So please make sure, like I said, that you're jumping on and staying on top of these things. If you want to compose a message, you're going to click on the compose button here. There are two types of S-Comms that you can send within Therap. The first one is general, and we ask that you use this when you're sending a message not specific to an individual. So if you're sending something out to us, and let's say you're asking a message of someone at the central office, and it's more of a personal question or something that's going on you're not sure about. You had a question, maybe you got bingo in the recent competition, and you want to let us know. You can send all that through this. It'll allow you to select any person within the company to send the message to. And so it's pretty general, like it says, it's general and not individual specific. For things that are specific to an individual and may contain health-related information, we'll ask that you use the individual care piece. And this is what I'll use for the demo here. General is exactly the same. You just won't need a designated person. When I click on this individual care ribbon, it'll give me the option to select a person. And so if I start typing in the person that I need to send a message about, you'll see some options pop up here. Click on one of those options and it'll autofill the rest of it for you. Once you have the right person, click on the little blue button here, and it will go ahead and open a message for you. And it's also prompting me right here that this information is specific to Laurel and Bredesen. I shouldn't include information about other folks that I may be supporting in this particular message. To choose recipients, I could either start typing a person's name in here, or I could hit this button here on the side to see the entire list of people that I could potentially send that message to. Once again, this is only going to be people that have access to Laurel's case. And so if they don't have access to her, they won't show up. You won't be able to send information about Laurel to people that shouldn't know. And so as I click through the bottom here, I'll see all of the people within the organization that have access to her profile. If I wanted to, I also have the ability to start typing in. And if I needed to send a message over to Karen regarding Laurel, I'll start typing her name in there. When it pops up, I'll click on it, and then it'll show all my recipients will show up right here. If you had to drop her off, you could click off on this little X, and it'll take her right off the message, just in case you put someone in there that you just change your mind about. Just like with other parts of Therap, there's a high, medium, and low notification level for all of your S-Comms. If it's just a general update, doesn't really require a response, go ahead and click low. If it's something that people should read when they see it, medium. If it's an important thing that needs attention and response, you're going to click that as high. And so if I'm just going to pick one, I'm going to click on low. You'll also need to have a subject line in here, and we're just going to pick one of the things that I've written about before, and we got in service sheet. In this section here, I'll go ahead and type in whatever the body of my message is. If I have my question, whatever that might be, I'll put that in. And then if there's any attachments, you have the ability to either add things from other Therap modules and send them over. You also have the ability to add or scan a file in. These types of things we don't use quite as much. A lot of what we do is just send messages back and forth. But like you saw in the last example there from Sam, the attachments will show up here at the bottom for the messages you get, and they're at the bottom here for the ones that you might upload. Once I have it all ready to go, I can go ahead and click send, and it will send it off to Karen. We're not actually going to send Karen this message today, so I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel, and it goes away. So with that, that covers the vast majority of the S-Comm features that you'll use the most often. Feel free to explore through here. There are some settings, there are abilities for you to manage some folders by creating folders, and then you could use the selection buttons here to be able to move them to certain places if you'd like to organize them that way. Thank you very much for watching the training. As always, let your program manager know if you have any questions.